Before I move on to the next topic, it is crucial that you guys realize this. I am being as fair and balanced as I can. I am judging these players, athletes, teams, all of these things based on what I see. It has nothing to do with favorites. If my favorite player has the worst game in the world, I'm going to rip him for it. If he does something dumb, I'm going to rip him for it. If my least favorite player, least favorite team has the greatest game in the world, I'm going to praise him for it. I'm going to point out everything he did good. And you have to remember, I do not have favorite teams or favorite players when I do this. It's not in the cards for me. When I do this show, I am fair, balanced, neutral. So this next topic, some of you guys are going to get mad and think that I'm picking favorites. It has nothing to do with favorites. If he comes out, flips things around, I'm going to be the first person to say, hey, great game. Did you see this? Did you see that? So just remember that when I'm talking about this. Now for the big topic of the show, Tim Tebow has made 2 starts as a Denver Bronco. Let me start off with this. The fact that he's cute does not matter. The fact that he spends his spring break giving vaccinations in third world countries does not matter. The fact that he's a good Christian does not matter. You can like him as a person, does not make him a good player. I applaud him for those things, not for being cute. I'm not going to applaud him for that. But giving vaccinations in third world countries, following Christianity, that's fine. Do your own thing. That's great for you. But that does not make him a great player. But the majority of you see those things and think, oh God, he's a great person, and therefore he's a great quarterback. Oprah Winfrey is a great person, probably one of the greatest and most giving people ever. She's not a great quarterback. I do not care about those things. And I don't care if he's a great person off the field. I look at him as a quarterback. And just because you're a great person doesn't mean you're a great quarterback. And he's changed now, but I'm going to throw out one name, Michael Vick. All right? Was he a great person in the past? No. What he did was wrong and it was bad. We've seen to move on from that now. But he's an amazing quarterback. Maybe not necessarily a great person, or at least he wasn't. To go along with that, the fact that he has the highest selling jersey this year means nothing. I know someone who does not follow football at all, doesn't watch any games, doesn't turn it on, doesn't do anything. Yet she ordered a Tim Tebow jersey because of all this good guy. You know, he's a great guy. He does this, he does that. Orders a Tim Tebow jersey, wears it every Sunday, still doesn't watch the games, doesn't know anything about football, doesn't know what Tim Tebow, how he does, none of that. Bought the Tim Tebow jersey, wears it, supports him, probably thinks he's a great quarterback, doesn't watch him, has never watched football before. I get the intangibles. I know I'll never have to question his heart or his drive, but it takes a talented quarterback and pushes them over the top. It doesn't take a third-string quarterback and make him great. It takes an already talented quarterback and makes him great. And for all the Tebow lovers out there, people cannot say one bad thing about him. You don't listen. He is already the greatest quarterback, and constructive criticism is certainly not okay. And if this is the case, he should be an elite quarterback, correct? So that means that you would take him over Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, and that's not the case. Right now you're looking at him being the 33rd best quarterback because I still think the best quarterback on the Denver Broncos is Kyle Orton. And P.S., Denver, all of you, everybody out there, he's not the next John Elway. He is not John Elway, and for people to be comparing him to one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time is ridiculous. There's a reason why it was debated whether he was going to go mid-second round or all the way to the 5th round. And now, he jumped up and got drafted because McDaniels was in charge and he doesn't quite know what he's doing there. But just because he's a winner, that's not going to pull him through. If we go back through and look, in 2007, the first pick of the draft was Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell won the 2007 National Championship for LSU. Where's Jamarcus Russell right now? Vince Young, 3rd pick in the draft, won the 2005 National Championship against USC with Leinart and Reggie Bush. Where's Vince Young right now? He's not starting, he's not playing, and he hasn't had a great career. Matt Leinart, 10th pick in the draft, won the Heisman, played in 2 national championships, and won the one right before Vince Young in 2004. Where's Matt Leinart now? What has Matt Leinart done in the NFL? The 2000 Oklahoma Sooners, who went 13-0, Josh Heupel, the quarterback, was the runner-up to the Heisman, won the national championship for Oklahoma. Quentin Griffin, the running back, helped win the national championship for Oklahoma. Where are those two? Josh Heupel is a quarterback coach at Oklahoma, and Quentin Griffin, after he went with the Broncos, I don't know where he went. Those guys are not playing, and those guys are winners in college. But just because you're a winner in college does not mean you're a winner in the NFL, and just because you're a winner does not mean you can make it in the NFL. It certainly does not mean you can make it in the NFL. Now let's look on the other side of the spectrum. Matt Ryan. Was he a winner in college? Yeah, he was all right. He was a kind of a winner, but he had the stuff that make great quarterbacks. 2006, his team, Boston College, with him at quarterback, went 10-3. They finished up number 23rd in the nation, and they played in the Meineke Car Bowl. 2007, they went 11-3, ended up 14th in the nation, and they played in the Champs Sports Bowl. Now, what is the difference between these two things? All the people I named first won national championships. Their teams went undefeated. They won Heismans. Matt Ryan did not win the Heisman, did not play in a national championship. He played in 2 bowls that people make fun of because of the names, because you go the Meineke Car Bowl, and now it has some extended name. Just because you're a winner in college does not mean you're a winner in the NFL. Now, let's take a look at some of the games. The Oakland game, he had 138 yards passing with 1 touchdown, 50% completion. Now, I understand that was his first game starting. I'm going to give him a pass on the 50% completion rating, but if you're going to play in the NFL, you definitely need above a 60. But if you look at that game, the 1 touchdown that he has, he throws into double coverage, which if you watch the replay should have been picked off. It went right through the Oakland Raiders defender's hands, and Brandon Lloyd has to make an amazing catch to save it. And he also had a couple rushes and 1 for a touchdown. But if you take away the 1 for a touchdown, which was 40 yards, he has 7 rushes for 38 yards. Now, on his run, he did a good job, and he read it right. He had amazing blocking downfield that let him break it, but he still got that touchdown. But 7 rushes for 38 yards is not good, especially when you're supposed to be a running/throwing quarterback. Now let's go to the Houston game. Better stats, but we'll get to that in a second. 308 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 55% completion. You have to get 60, 65 if you want to be an elite quarterback and if you want to play quarterback in this league. He had 10 rushes for 27 yards. That is not good for a quarterback who's supposed to be rushing and throwing. Now, the 308 yards looks good on paper. He did it against the worst pass defense in the NFL. Houston is terrible defensively, absolutely god-awful, and he throws 308 yards against them. Any second-string, third-string quarterback should be able to come and do that, especially when you're throwing screen passes all day. If you're going to pick the player of the game, which everybody says Tim Tebow, it's Corral Buckhalter. He rushes for a touchdown, and the 1 touchdown throw that Tebow did have, it was a screen pass, which Buckhalter makes amazing moves and gets 30 yards into the end zone. Where were these screen passes when Kyle Orton was doing? Kyle Orton gets blamed for all this stuff. They weren't running screen passes with Orton. They were running deep throws, and he had some of the best stats out of any quarterback out there. There's too many things about Tim Tebow I just see. In the Houston game, he almost kills Jabbar Gaffney on a screen pass. He overthrows him and just gets him lit up. It is a screen pass, and if you cannot make a screen pass in the NFL, a 10-yard throw, you're not going to make it. And overall, in college, he was smaller but faster than the D-line. He was the same size and faster than linebackers, and he was bigger than the safeties and corners and almost as fast. But in the NFL, he's smaller and faster than some D-linemen, but Julius Peppers and most defensive ends are still going to run him down. He's smaller and slower than the linebackers, and he's either as big or bigger than the safeties and corners, but way slower than them. If you watch these 2 games, he overthrows horribly. There was a couple corner routes where he overthrows them by 20 yards, 10 yards, hits the stands. Bad throws. He bounces 5-yard out routes and screens to the play. A 5-yard out route, that is a basic route, and if you cannot, in the NFL, you need to be able to throw a 20-yard out route. On a line, get it there, and he was bouncing 5-yard, 8-yard out routes and screens. When he falls back when he throws, and you guys can get on me about this, but if you watch him and you want this to be your franchise quarterback, you have to be critical and you have to look at this. When he throws, he's falling back, falling away from pressure. He throws off his back foot a lot, and if you watch this, this is the worst thing that he does. He does a hop throw where he gets ready to throw, and when he throws, his whole entire body hops and faces the direction he's throwing. Hips, legs, chest, everything is facing where he's throwing. You cannot throw like that in the NFL. And let me tell you, if it wasn't for Brandon Lloyd in the Houston game, he would have had 4 picks instead of 1. He doesn't know how to read QB draws, as we can tell by the stats in his running game, and he doesn't know how to read defenses in general. He's throwing in double coverage. He's hopping when he throws. If Denver, you're going to dig your own grave with them because you're not going to listen to this, and you're going to keep going for them, and you're not going to do it. But if Denver's smart, you'll trade him, and you're going to hope that Carolina doesn't pick Andrew Luck, and you're going to draft Andrew Luck in the first round right when you can, because Tim Tebow is not your quarterback, and Tim Tebow is not a good quarterback, and he will not be a good quarterback. Is he a great person? Yes, and I applaud him for everything he does. Is he a great leader? Yes. Is he fired up? Is he intense? Yes. Does he have the mechanics to play football? No. And you might say he needs time to work on it. Lots of quarterbacks have had time to work on it, and they never fix these things. They will not be fixed. Denver, if you're smart, trade him now while his hype is all up. Get a good quarterback in Andrew Luck. Cut your losses right now, because he will be the end of Denver, and he will be the death of you for the next 5 years if you keep him around. Thank you for listening. It's been great having you. Remember, follow me on Twitter at Matthew Fresquez. Like the Matthew Fresquez Show on Facebook. Get your emails in, MatthewFresquezShow@gmail.com. Follow Kevin Durant, KD Thunder Up. Tweet at him. Let him know that I'm the one doing it. Just let him know how you feel about him, man. He's a great guy. Like it. Listen, you don't have to like all my views about this stuff. I'm trying to be fair and balanced. All I'm reporting on is what I see on the field for these players. No favorites here. It doesn't matter if I like Tim Tebow as a person or I don't. It's all about what I think is he as a player. Thank you very much for tuning in again. Have a great night. Can't wait to see you.